We've had 8 million people join the Olio community, so the environmental impact is equivalent to taking over 750 million car miles off the road.
We've flown over more than 500 minefields in Ukraine so far. We're pioneering the use of machine learning with AWS to automatically find the mines in the imagery.
I grew up on a farm in North Yorkshire, and their food waste wasn't just a no-no, it was a flat-out crime. And so when I was moving house a few years ago and the removal men told me I had to throw away all of our uneaten food, I was not prepared to do that. And that was the moment when I thought, this is ridiculous. Why isn't there an app for this? We then ran some market research and we found that 1 in 3 people said that they were physically pained throwing away good food. And so that really galvanized Sasha, my co-founder, and myself to found Olio. What's the inspiration or the rationale behind the Halo Trust?
So the Halo Trust exists to clear landmines all around the world. We're the world's largest humanitarian landmine clearance organisation. We really exist to protect the lives and restore livelihoods of people that have been affected by conflict, because it's not just kind of the danger of stepping on a landmine and being injured or killed. Landmines also stop people from farming their land, stop children from going to school, and stop communities from recovering after a conflict.
And so how many acres of land have you cleared so far, and what are your goals and ambitions?
So Halo's been around since 1988, and in that time we've cleared over 750 square kilometres of minefields, as well as a huge amount of other explosive ordnance like rockets and cluster munitions. How long has Olio been in operation?
So next year we will have been going for 10 years, and we've reached some major milestones. We've had 8 million people join the Olio community. Collectively, they have rescued over 200 million portions of food, and we've also saved over 13 million household items. But what we're incredibly proud of is the environmental and social impact of that. So the environmental impact is equivalent to taking over 750 million car miles off the road. And we've also saved 30 billion litres of water. So Olio is just a fantastic example of how we can harness the power of technology and community to have a real win-win for everybody, for people and for the planet.
I had the story of a farmer named Mikhail who has a small holding which is next door to one of Ukraine's largest pig farms. After the full-scale invasion started in 2022, the majority of the pigs actually starved to death, and then the ones that didn't were later killed by stepping on landmines. His family actually ran out of food in 3 months after the invasion started. Halo is currently clearing Mikhail's land so that he can return to farming. Some farmers in his position decide that they can't afford to wait and decide to farm their land anyway, with often tragic consequences.
We have countless stories that really reinforce for us the power of what we're doing. We hear on a daily basis from parents in particular who are incredibly grateful for the fact that they can use Olio to access food for their children when they're having a really tough time. It was immediately obvious to us we had massive ambitions. We needed to have a server solution that would scale with us. And so AWS was the obvious choice. And AWS has been with us at every point on our journey. And it's really felt like we've had a toolbox beside us. And at any point in time, we can take out whichever tool that we want to solve that problem in a really efficient, resourceful, cost-effective way.
One of the technologies that we've been trialling in the last 2 years is the use of drones to fly over suspected areas of minefields and take images of the minefields. We've flown over more than 500 minefields in Ukraine so far. We've produced over 11 terabytes of data, so far too much for any one person to search through manually, which is where the AI comes into it. So we're pioneering the use of machine learning with AWS to automatically find the mines in the imagery.
So 11 terabytes of data, that is a huge amount. And it's a lot to deal with, and that's something that we have as a bit of a challenge as well. So we have millions of items that are being shared via the app each month, and what we like to do is provide people with their impact data, and we need to calculate that impact for them real time as all the sharing activity is taking place. And so we use the AWS caching service, so we don't slow down the main experience of the app. We can use the cache data to make our calculations and then give that back to our community. We've also really lent into AI as well. So we've developed this tool called AIify, and when you're adding a listing to the app, you can just tap that button. It will automatically complete the title and the description. So it makes the process of adding listings to the app much faster.
The same for us. Really, AI is just speeding up what we can do and allowing us to return land to safe use more quickly. Our eyes have really been opened by the ability of technology to accelerate what we're doing, and not just the small data processing parts of the pipeline, but the overall process is sped up.